Hello everyone, it's Lucy again. Today, we're going to meet teacher and student Xiao Han again. Let's go to episode 22, to see Hao Xian's King of Hell transformation. Right now, Hao Xian's group stands facing the old King of Hell. Wukong gets to fight, steps forward eagerly. Wukong's face shows no restraint and excitement as he cracks his knuckles and boldly exclaims, "Master, let me deal with this old bastard." As soon as finishing speaking, Hao Xian immediately responds, "No need, this time let the master teach him a lesson." The reason Hao Xian is so confident is that the cooldown time for the peak experience card is no longer an issue, it can be activated immediately. So, he's not hesitant to take on anyone. Upon hearing these words, Wukong is quite surprised but thrilled beyond measure, exclaiming, "Wow, master, you want to handle this personally? I'm really looking forward to it, and I can learn even more." Hao Xian then pulls out the peak card, thinking, the last using time has been reduced to just 1 minute. I can probably use it immediately this time. Indeed, just as he thought, the peak card was used and activated immediately by Hao Xian. Following that, Hao Xian was enveloped by a tremendous surge of power radiating from the underworld. Soon after, the most powerful form of King of Hell Underworld, known as Qin Guang Wang, was activated. Hao Xian's aura at this moment isn't different from Sangoku, version cultivating immortals supporting a Super Saiyan. After the transformation, Hao Xian was elated because he could feel a lot of interesting powers. He grinned coldly, thinking, "This time, let me play with some other tricks for fun." With that in mind, Hao Xian sat down arrogantly, and the old King of Hell couldn't help but feel a hint of suspicion. Thinking, the transformation may not be noteworthy, but what is this aura? Is this an ability that only exists in the underworld, isn't it? Hao Xian, sitting on the other side, spoke in a confident tone, "Old man, let's play a little trick this time. I'll sit still for you to attack. If I make a move, consider it my loss. How about that?" Hearing this provocation, the old man retorted sharply. "You brat, wait until you can block my 3 moves, then it won't be too late to brag later." Hao Xian glanced at him with a look that said, "You're not old enough but say, okay." Then he raised his hand and summoned a lay demon. In an instant, from the summoning circle emerged a formidable demon with long horns, looking quite intimidating. As soon as it greeted, it charged towards the old King of Hell and threw a punch. Seeing this, the old man scoffed in contempt, then the old man swung his arm, delivering a powerful blow that sent the lay demon flying through the air. The impact was strong enough to knock the demon to the ground for a moment of respite. The old King of Hell smirked arrogantly, saying, "Is this the courage you boast about in front of me?" His words were dripping with arrogance and disdain. In contrast to the old man's bitterness and anger, Hao Xian remained unfazed. He retorted, "You're crowing too early. It's not over yet." After the lay demon recovered from its brief respite, it stood up as if nothing had happened. The old man glanced back, but his expression remained unchanged. To him, standing up was nothing to be concerned about. He also turned around and played Act 1, Scene 2. The lay demon roared furiously and charged straight towards the old man without any hesitation. It threw a punch at the old King of Hell, but with years of fighting experience, the old man swiftly dodged it by bending his body backward. Not only that, he also used the momentum to counterattack, preparing a curved uppercut from below. True to the script, the old man successfully landed a punch on the lay demon's jaw with a resounding thud. Following that, a swift left hook that caused the lay demon's jaw to shift. Not only that, the old man also unleashed a fierce uppercut from below, leaving the lay demon unable to retaliate. The battle was clearly leaning in the old King of Hell's favor. And he continued to rain blows relentlessly, while his opponent seemed to be barely conscious. After a continuous barrage of punches, the King of Hell grabbed both sides of the lay demon's shoulders and said, "This one will be the most stimulating." After finishing his speech, the old man ruthlessly tore the lay demon apart into 2 pieces, displaying a cold and merciless demeanor. Once he was done brutalizing the lay demon, he widened his eyes, grinned maniacally, and exclaimed, "I told you, you're powerless against me. That creature is useless in my eyes." On the other side, Mysterious Lady and Wukong witnessed the old man's brutality, and they couldn't help but express their disgust on their faces. The old king of hell continued to boast arrogantly, saying, "This little bit of power is nowhere near enough to face me." Hao Xian looked at the old man with a gaze that said, "You're still very young," and he smirked arrogantly. Seeing this expression, the old man's anger boiled, as he detested arrogance, especially from someone of his own kind, and above all, from a mere whelp who still smelled of milk but acted high and mighty. Because of that, the old man grew increasingly enraged, tensing his body to reveal a stronger aura than ever before, and shouted, "Today, I will teach you what it means to respect your seniors, to show reverence, and to adhere to tradition. Of course, I'll take your life to pay for your arrogance." Seeing the old man ranting on, Hao Xian interjected, "First of all, allow me to cut your story short. Aren't you old? You haven't finished playing level 1 yet, so where do you have the qualifications to fight me?" Upon hearing this, the old man froze immediately. The half-body of the lay demon at his rear was rapidly regenerating, every bones and other parts reconstructing at an incredible speed. After a few seconds, the form of the lay demon was almost fully restored. The old king of hell, seeing this scene, was astonished and thought, "Rapid regeneration? How is this possible? This is a super-level talent that only exists at the peak level." As soon as the old man finished his thought, the lay demon had completed its regeneration and stood up. It then lifted its head to the sky and roared fiercely. The old king of hell remained deeply surprised, thinking, "This creature is clearly just a summoned spirit, so how does it possess such a top-tier talent for regeneration?" Not stopping there, the other half of the lay demon was also successfully regenerating at an astonishing rate. Now, the situation involved 2 lay demons with their super-speed regeneration talent. The old king of hell, witnessing this, was left gaping, because of as he had never encountered such a situation in all his years. Seriously? Not only can they regenerate, but they can also split into completely separate entities, indistinguishable from the original. I've never heard of a summoning talent like this. Who exactly is he? Some kind of divine being from another realm? On the other side, Hao Xian, seeing the old man's constantly changing expression, smirked and said mockingly, Hey, I'm telling you, it's boring when you show that kind of expression, you know. We haven't played a single piece yet, our game has just begun. This is the end of the story, see you in the next episode. Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of this story. After witnessing Hao Xian's strength, the old king of hell felt a bit panicked, especially when he added the remark, our game has just begun, which made the old man even more confused. However, with his stubborn nature, the old man remained unafraid. He began to grow angry, the old man's eyes gleaming as he said, Good, very good. Then I have no need to hide anything anymore. As soon as he finished speaking, his aura became several times more terrifying than before. It must be said that his previous and current states were not on the same level. His entire body also changed color, turning into a dark red, exuding an incredibly powerful and oppressive aura. The old man roared in anger and fury, as if raging against the heavens. Wukong, witnessing this scene, grimaced and said, This oppressive feeling has completely changed. With claws sharp as daggers covered in a thick layer of bloodlust, the old man tightened his grip and let out a savage roar. His roar echoed throughout the underworld, showcasing his true power. Along with that scream were crimson shock rays flying to attack the lay demon. On the lay demon's side, it showed no sign of backing down and charged forward to engage in a bloodthirsty brawl with the old man. Seconds later, their attacks collided, but it was evident that there was a significant disparity in strength. Even in normal circumstances, Lay Demon would have struggled against the old man, but with the old man's buffed-up state, Lay Demon was utterly overwhelmed, unable to react at all. The old king of hell swiftly moved behind Lay Demon, preparing to deliver a devastating blow, catching it off guard. The punch carried with it a destructive aura, as the old man pushed his spiritual power to extreme. In the blink of an eye, he launched a barrage of continuous punches. His mouth kept howling like crazy. Lay Demon was bombarded with thousands of punches to the point that he had no strength to resist and instead suffered on the spot. However, at that moment, the second form of Lay Demon leaped behind the old man, ready to strike him. The old king of hell didn't dodge or evade, allowing it to land its blow. However, Lay Demon's hand stopped behind the old man, trembling incessantly. The old man looked back with a disdainful and icy gaze. The other demons witnessing this spectacle couldn't help but shudder in fear at the old man's overwhelming strength, murmuring among themselves, "Is the king of hell really this powerful? So he's been hiding this terrifying strength all this time." Next, the old man delivered a punch to the other Lay Demon, splitting it in half. It flew far, crashing into the rock wall and collapsing onto the ground. Wukong, witnessing the old man's power, began to panic, realizing they were not on the same level. Mysterious Lady is not much different from Wukong, both starting to tremble before the old man's might. Even if Mysterious Lady and the little monkey teamed up, they couldn't match the old man. The Lay Demon on the other side lay on the ground, its flesh regenerating but slowly. Seeing this, the old king of hell chuckled with satisfaction, saying, "Indeed, the recovery speed is too slow. I've said it before, there's nothing truly immortal." Turning to the second Lay Demon, he found the situation similar to the first one. Though it regenerated, it wasn't as fast as initially. At this moment, the old man thought with great satisfaction, "Though my Azura state won't last long enough, it's sufficient to destroy the summoned beast and kill its core." With this in mind, he charged forward, declaring, "While you're weakened, I'll take your life." As the old man advanced for the decisive strike, he raised his hand to deliver the blow, but at that moment, he hesitated. This was because Hao Xian called out, "Wait a moment." Irritated, the old man turned back and said, "What? You want to admit defeat? It's too late now." Hearing this, Hao Xian replied, "No, no, old man, you've got it wrong." He looked at the old man with a smirk and continued, "I just wanted to ask if you're mentally prepared. Because I've been sitting around too long, so I'll start putting on a bit of a show." As he spoke, he didn't forget to stroke his majestic long beard. Hearing these words, the old man seemed to pause, realizing that this individual held real power and couldn't be underestimated. Wukong, upon hearing this, grinned with excitement, looking forward to the spectacle. Mysterious Lady also watched the battle intently, unable to hide her anticipation. Here Hao Xian continued, "Let me ask you a question, how do you feel about the strength of my summoned beasts?" Upon hearing this, the old man smirked and sneered, "Is that all you've got? I'm only using half of my power, and that's enough to slaughter all of you." Seeing the old man boast like that without blinking, Hao Xian chuckled in response, "Oh, only half, huh? Well done, well done." After saying that, Hao Xian pointed straight up to the sky and commanded, "Come forth." From his hand emanated a powerful spiritual force that pierced straight into the sky, forming a fierce vortex. Seeing this, the old man was astonished and rushed forward, shouting loudly, "Are you trying to create a mysterious facade to prolong the time or to attack sneakily? I won't let you have your way." After uttering those words, the old man abruptly paused, making a sound of suspicion. He glanced over to where Hao Xian stood, and behind Hao Xian at that moment were large pits accompanied by summoning circles below. Seeing the old man break abruptly, Hao Xian remarked, "Don't be so tense, it's just a bunch of pits." The old man stopped and looked at him seriously, asking, "What exactly does this little guy want to do?" Hao Xian looked at the old man and said, "I already told you, don't be so tense. Relax a bit. It's just a few pits, nothing serious. Didn't you find playing with my two Lay Demons boring? So, I just added a little spice to your game to make it more interesting." After saying this, Hao Xian raised a finger to unleash a radiant energy. After that, the summoning circle began to tremble violently. First came the massive bare arm, accompanied by sharp teeth with 81 fangs. Once fully manifested, it raised its head to the sky and let out a mighty roar, its thunderous growl echoing fiercely. The large bear cub continued to flaunt its stature and strength. The menacing eyes, the sharp fangs ready to devour everything in sight. Witnessing this scene, King of Hell felt his heart pounding in fear, his face pale with sweat pouring down like rain. Hao Xian looked at him and asked, "So what, isn't this interesting? Is this little bear of mine enough for you to go all out? If not, let me call you more." But the old man didn't heed his words. At this moment, there was only one thought in his mind, that is to run immediately. Years of fighting instincts had taught the old man that he was not on the same level as the monstrous creature standing before him. Once he starts fighting for 3 rounds, he will die without a place to be buried. The little bear hadn't received the order to attack yet, so it stood there, staring at the old man with a fierce gaze, while the old man remained motionless in place. Because at this point, the old man's legs were no longer under his control, trembling uncontrollably, unable to support him. He couldn't take another step forward as his legs had lost all sensation. Trembling like a leaf, he thought, "What do I do now? What can I possibly do? So scared." Hao Xian remained seated over there, and upon seeing the old man struggling to rise, he promptly encouraged him, don't be afraid, it's just a little game." Not stopping there, Hao Xian raised his hand to unleash spiritual energy and said to the old man, "It's not over yet, there's more." The old man, startled and wide-eyed with fear, stuttered, "What more is there?" Hao Xian did not hesitate to tell him. "That's of course." Hao Xian put his hand back and spoke, "Heaven's seal awaken," causing a golden light to appear. The summoning spell also transformed into a dazzling beam of light, and a surge of fierce spiritual energy shot straight into the sky. The group of specters gasped in fear, continuously screaming, their mouths gaping open. The radiant sky gradually illuminated the entire area. Hao Xian glanced over with a smirk. In the distance, the little demon soldiers in the town couldn't help but be startled when they saw such a clear sky, couldn't close their mouths. The scene became even more ferocious than when King of Hell first appeared. A golden dragon's head emerged from within that beam of light, its sharp claws and majestic gaze directed down at King of Hell. The sky at this time with the appearance of a giant golden dragon in the air, below, stood the massive supersized bear standing. At this moment, the golden dragon emitted fierce aura from its eyes. Wukong, witnessing this spectacle, couldn't contain his excitement, despite having mentally prepared himself beforehand. He couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. As for the mysterious lady, she stood frozen in place, overwhelmed by the sight. In comparison to her father, who could be stronger? The spectating demons, overwhelmed with fear, screamed in terror, "Oh my goodness, the 5-element golden dragon. Isn't this the ancient divine beast that was eradicated thousands of years ago? Our Lord is finished this time." At this moment, the old King of Hell wanted to cry right now, but he looked speechless. There's no trace of his former arrogance now. He always reminded himself to stay calm and not to panic, yet he stands there frozen. Meanwhile, Hao Xian remarks, "There's more, it's just that this one still needs props to summon." He rummages through his belongings, searching frantically. Without forgetting, he says to the King of Hell, "Just wait a moment, I'm almost done searching." It's a gentle remark, but for the King of Hell at this moment, it hits like the sound of thunder struck my ears. Damn it, is he serious? What did he just say? And there's more. Isn't this enough already? Oh my God. Hello everyone, we're back with the next episode. After searching for a while, Hao Xian pulled out a red card and prepared for the final boss to enter the arena. He chuckled and said, "Aha, found it." After that introduction, Hao Xian returned to a serious tone and shouted loudly, "Whose ancestors?" Hao Xian had to tense his muscles and shout with all his might. From below, a dark red summoning circle began to emanate a terrifying aura, even more formidable than the grand entrance of the golden dragon. In the sky, clouds gathered, accompanied by ominous streaks of aura, suddenly forming a powerful whirlwind, emitting streaks of crimson light, as if welcoming an awakened demon god. The whirlwind became more and more intense, radiating unparalleled pressure. The wind's only echo caused the surrounding mountains to crumble as if suffering from its fury. The crimson dragon's spout wreaked havoc on everything in its path, engulfing the surroundings in a destructive aura that seemed to annihilate both heaven and earth. Hao Xian, witnessing this scene, couldn't help but marvel at the potential peak power of the young king of hell. He hadn't anticipated it would be so terrifying. The demon solidars, eagerly eavesdropping on the events, found themselves petrified by the unfolding scene. They harbored doubts about existence itself, unsure if they were witnessing what they were seeing, wondering if this was the last time in their lives they would behold such a beautiful sight. Wukong and Mysterious Lady were no different from the specters in their reaction. Both of them felt terrified, sensing the immensely oppressive aura of this creature. The reverberating sound of its dominance rendered them unable to fight back, gripped by fear. Even the two lieutenants under King of Hell stood frozen, staring ahead without daring to blink, thinking, "No way, is this the end of the world?" A giant blood-red eye, resembling that of a demon god, loomed down. Hao Xian, on this side, signaled to King of Hell, "I've summoned enough people, let's continue playing." The scene was quite ironic for King of Hell. Even with several resurrection armors, he couldn't muster the courage to stand up and fight. Just one glance from the blood-red eye could obliterate his divine form, a swipe of the golden dragon's claw could render him useless, and a slap from the gigantic bear could send him fly to the endless plain. The scene at this moment was quite humorous as the old man was being scrutinized by the three majestic creatures above, inspecting him down to every pore without missing a single detail. The confident and arrogant demeanor that King of Hell initially had on his face was now replaced by depression. Seconds later, the old man realized the horrifying truth of the situation and panicked, "Damn it, run, you damn feet, move for me. If you don't move anymore, you're reincarnated, hoo-hoo." Before he could take a breath, he was already shaking like a leaf in fear. His state of Azura vanished instantly. Looking up at the giant bear head above, his limbs were already scrambling to move, let alone the two things behind it. After a while, he made up his mind to turn around and flee. The old man's hands were clasped together, constantly rubbing against each other, his face drenched in sweat. Despite this, he forced a strained smile and said, "Ha, I wonder which noble figure from the heavenly place descend on earth has come down to play with us mortals. Please don't be angry, quickly take back your divine power, otherwise I won't be able to bear it like this." Hao Xian looked at him with a cold expression and asked, "What's wrong? Are you not going to fight anymore? I haven't had enough fun yet." The old man hastily replied, "No dare, no dare. If the noble one raises their hand, us mortals would surely vanish into thin air, aha." Hearing this, Hao Xian decided to stand up. He approached the old man and said, "Well then, that's good. Now let me ask you again, how does my power compare to yours?" "By how many times, Upon hearing this question from Hao Xian, the old man immediately chuckled awkwardly and rubbed his hands, saying, "The little man who used to be a dog's I didn't know Taishan. I would like to ask you to be generous and forgive me. We don't even not equal your little toe, no, not even your fingernails. I can't compete, as long as you want me to become a dog for you in the underworld. You can command me as you please." Seeing the old man constantly spout nonsense, Hao Xian also remarked, "You're quite skilled at flattery. Well done. So, if I were to tell you that I have a special ability, the power to summon the future bodies of others, would you believe me? The body we are using now is the future human body. How do you feel about that?" Hearing this, the old man pretended to laugh heartily and said, "Sir, you're quite the joker. That little guy is nothing but trash, how could he ever compare to even a fraction of you?" Hao Xian reiterated to the old man, "Where's the joke in that? Whether it's a joke or not, you know better than anyone else, right? Because no matter what, the aura is still its own and has not changed, right, sir?" Upon hearing this, the old man seemed to fall into despair. He gritted his teeth in anger and angry indignant. Meanwhile, Hao Xian continued to provide psychological counseling to the old man on the side. Have you felt the gap between you and your son, whom you have humiliated all day? At the same age. Are you qualified to carry his shoes at that time? Though these words may sound harsh, they are the truth. After a moment of silence, the old man addressed Hao Xian, "Esteemed sir, your visit to my underworld this time must not be solely for the purpose of humiliating me. Is there any enmity between us?" Hearing this, Hao Xian clarified to the old man, "I don't have time to waste humiliating you here. Are you worthy? The purpose of my visit here is to take your son away. He's not like you, he's a true genius. Following your useless will only hold him back," he said sternly to the old man. "As for you, if you don't dare to fight, then just tuck your tail and leave. I'm not like you, bullying the weak. There's no fun in that, the lives of people like you are truly pitiful." Hearing these words of Hao Xian, the old man grimaced, cold sweat pouring down his face, unable to retort. However, with no other choice, he bowed respectfully and said, "I understand, sir. I will leave." At this moment, he looked like he had turned into gray stone, turning away and walking off in despair, each step feeling like a heavy burden. The two generals, upon seeing this, showed no sympathy and even added, "It's worthy that the kind of person who only knows how to bully his subordinates all day long like you will also be taught a lesson one day." Others chimed in, saying, "Why aren't you arrogant now? Let's keep going crazy, it's really worth it." At that moment, the old man approached the little king of hell, who looked at him with a perpetual sorrowful expression. The old man still wore that look of despair, but there was a hint of unwillingness in his eyes. Seeing him like this, the little king of hell couldn't help but ask, "Father, are you all right?" Before he could finish speaking, the old man angrily shouted, "Get lost. I don't need your pity," as if by instinct, the old man threw a punch, but this time he missed the little king of hell. He screamed furiously, "I don't need it." Tears streamed down his face as he cried out, "You've humiliated me enough, you miserable wretch." But the little king of hell couldn't understand what his father was saying. At this moment, Hao Xian witnessed this scene with growing suspicion, because he thought there must be some underlying reason for it. The old man approached the little king of hell and said, "From now on, let's consider each other as strangers. Don't call me father anymore." With these words, he turned away in his anger and frustration. The little king of hell remained expressionless, gazing down at the ground. Perhaps he was losing something, and Hao Xian couldn't help but approach and ask, "Why is your father treating you like this? Is there something hidden in this matter?" The little king of hell replied sadly, "My father was not like that before. Although his personality was also very arrogant and domineering, he still had a gentle side, not like that." Hearing this, Hao Xian was also surprised and asked, "Is that so? I can't see that he has this side. When I was little, my father used to train swordsmanship with me under the falling snow, patiently play chess with me in the courtyard, and sometimes even take me on adventures to explore the world. Now when I think about it, it all seems fake," the little king of hell said with a tone filled with bitter laughter. Because he himself did not believe what had happened. Seeing this, Hao Xian asked again, "Then why did things turn out like this? There must be a more specific reason, right?" At this point, his eyes darkened because of the cause. There was an unforeseen incident once. My parents wanted to celebrate my birthday by taking me on an outing. But by chance, we encountered a true divine beast. His words startled Wukong, who exclaimed in shock, "What? I can't believe there was actually a divine beast." Mysterious Lady was also shocked to hear this chilling news. Although it was only a low-level divine beast, it was still at the divine level. Its power exceeded imagination. My father had to discard all the treasures on him just to reluctantly rescue my mother. I was lucky to escape unscathed because I was sleeping at a sacred place. After waking up, I discovered that my mother had permanently left this world. After burying her at that place, everything started to change. My father stayed by her grave for a long time, and later on, his personality suddenly became more ruthless. That's the end of the story. See you in the next episode.